days around.
Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today we will be previewing Tottenham Hotspur's next match in the Premier League as they take on West Ham United at home in another London derby of the season in the 24th round of the 2022-2023 Premier League season. It's a home game for Tottenham Hotspur, so it will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The referee will be Michael Oliver. It is going to be on the February 19th, 2023, which is Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can watch this match in the U.S. on NBCSports.com, USA Network, and Telemundo. Let's move into recent form real quick. So West Ham are coming off of the back of a fairly successful 1-1 draw with London rivals Chelsea in the Premier League. Emerson scoring in the 28th minute after cancelling out a 16th minute opener from Joao Felix. Tottenham are 2 losses on the bounce in all competitions after a 4-1 demolition as their last match in the Premier League. They went out to Europe, into Italy, and they lost to AC Milan in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League round of 16. Brahim Diaz scoring in the 7th minute to put the Italian side 1-0 up on aggregate in that tie. Tottenham currently sit in 5th place in the Premier League table, 23 games played, 12 wins, 3 draws, 8 losses on 39 points. West Ham sit in the relegation zone after Everton's win against Leeds on 22 games played, 20 points, 5 wins, 5 draws, 12 losses.
Now moving on to team news. Spurs have 4 players injured. Hugo Lloris is still out with his knee injury, and we know Bentancur is out for the season with his ACL. Ryan Sessegnon is also out with a hamstring injury at left wing back, and Bissouma is also out for a long-term injury with an ankle problem. Moving on to West Ham, they have 7 players injured. Aaron Cresswell is out with a virus. Alfonso Areola is out with a hamstring injury. Gianluca Scamacca is out with a knee injury. Kurt Zouma is out with a muscle injury. Lucas Paqueta is out with a shoulder injury. Maswell Cornet is out with a calf injury. And Aguerd is out with a hamstring injury. So a long list of injuries for West Ham, which could give Spurs an advantage. We're moving on to projected lineups. In goal is Fraser Forster coming in for the injured Hugo Lloris. A back 3 of Romero, Dyer, and Longley. I think Longley will come in for Davies after Davies kind of pretty much had a horror show against Leicester last weekend. And Longley didn't do too bad over the week against AC Milan in Italy. And then our 2 wingbacks, Pedro Porro and Everton Royale. I think Everton will play on the left, so we have some defensive solidarity. And then we have Son above him, who can really drive forward since he has his defense covered. He doesn't really need to track back as much with Emerson behind him as he does with Perisic. Then Pedro Porro on the right-hand side. I think he needs another chance. He has Kuti behind him this game, which is going to be a huge difference from Leicester. He had Tanganga behind him then, since Romero was suspended. So that's going to be a really big difference for him, and I'm really excited to see him play with an actual good defender behind him.
Yeah.
Moving on to our 2 midfielders, Højbjerg and Sarr. Sarr coming in for the injured Bentancur. And in our front 3, Richarlison, Kane, and Son. I think Richarlison will come in for Kulusevski, since Kulusevski hasn't been in the form of his life recently. Apparently, the injuries probably have affected him a lot recently. I think he needs a little rest. And you can see the fatigue on him at times.
Yeah. So, in terms of defense, I think Longley will start because he looks way better than Davies has in the last couple of weeks. Especially when you look at Ben Davies' 9-minute cameo against AC Milan. Potentially one of the worst substitute appearances I've ever seen. He had 4 misplaced crosses. I think he made 1 or 2 mistakes at the back and conceded chances for AC Milan. So it was pretty bad from Ben Davies that game. So and Longley wasn't actually that bad. He came off in the 81st minute, but he didn't really do much wrong. Kept his side of the pitch relatively
and he also linked up with Perisic really well. That
too, yeah. So I don't see why he wouldn't start. Of course, Romero coming back into the side in a Premier League match is going to be huge for us. Wingbacks, I know we have Perisic and we have that left wing back, but I just feel like, A, Perisic doesn't give us as much defensive ability on that left side, and B, he takes up a lot of the operating space where Son likes to operate. That's why he's been so poor this year. Perisic occupies that left wing, left midfielder spot, which means Son is forced to kind of drive into a center defensive midfield position, which means he always gets the ball with his back to goal. And if we know one thing about Son is he's built like a winger who drives towards the goal. He can't operate with the ball with his back turned to the goal because that's just not the way he plays, because he's a winger. He likes to drive straight at the opponent and at the goal. So I think taking Perisic out, which A, will help Son kind of rediscover his form, and B, Perisic has not been doing great in the last couple of weeks.
He has been doing all right. He did well against AC Milan, not too bad.
But very average performances.
Yeah, recently, like Man City.
Yeah. So it'll be Emerson on the left, I think, definitely, just to provide some defensive solidarity. And then Pedro Porro on the right, he'll have the license to go forward and attack with Guti Romero behind him.
I don't think we can play Pedro Porro and Perisic together at wingbacks until we have a good defense.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then
the wingbacks have to defend too.
Yeah.
Because the defense is not the best.
Yeah. Moving into midfield, we have Højbjerg, who will come back into the side after his European suspension at AC Milan. Sarr really, really impressed at AC Milan over the week. He was probably our best player, running that midfield completely. Also, Ollie Skip did really well, but I think Højbjerg has to come back into the side just to give us that kind of defensive solidarity. And so one of Skip or Sarr will drop out, and I think it's going to be Sarr because we'll want to be a little more forward-thinking in our midfield, especially playing against an 18th place West Ham.
Skip.
So
Skip will drop out.
So yeah, Skip will drop out. Sarr will come in because Sarr has that ability. He's a little more forward-thinking than Skip. Skip's an out-and-out defensive midfielder. But
I don't think Skip and Højbjerg will do well together since they both have the same playstyle.
Yeah.
That's why Højbjerg and Bentancur work so well together. Bentancur likes to drive forward. Højbjerg is more of a defensive player.
That's why Skip works so well, because Sarr's a forward player. Skip really holds that defensive line back, which is a good combination to have in your midfield too. And then up top, of course, Harry Kane, no question. Son, I think he'll stay in instead of Kulusevski. I think Kulusevski's biggest problem was that injury that he suffered.
Yeah, Son's been getting back into it. He's probably our best attacker against AC Milan.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
He's been having those little dribbles, those little bursts, those runs that he normally has. He puts on the afterburners.
Yeah.
He always typically has those, and we're starting to see them again.
Yeah. But I think Richarlison will come into the side for someone. He came on at AC Milan. He did not get a bunch of minutes. He got, I think, about
I feel like he
20.
did really well there, though.
Yeah, but he looked pretty good.
He looked very energetic.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised at all to see him start here. Of course, he's starting out of position at that right wing side, which, of course, as a striker, he's going to be... That's why his performances have not been up to par this season, is because Harry Kane is always going to start striker. So that right wing spot is that's where Richarlison will fall in, but he's not a winger. He's a center forward.
Next FA Cup game, that's a chance for Richarlison to
I
get
hope
in that
Richarlison
striker.
starts. Yeah,
because he didn't play against
He
Preston.
was injured.
Yeah.
Or at Preston and Portsmouth.
And Portsmouth, he was injured, but I don't know if he was
Both
injured.
of them.
Both of them, he was injured. I think Preston was at like the tail end of his injury.
Yeah, and then he came back, I think, the week after. So I hope that he's fit for this FA Cup fixture, because that's going to be a very, very big chance for him to show what he's got, and show that he's got what it takes to be in the side. Let's move on to score predictions. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Spurs.
I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Spurs. I think Spurs can get the job done against West Ham. I'm hoping to see a Son goal today. We know he always delivers against West Ham. At least at home. Most of the time, this is a home fixture. We normally do well at home against West Ham, apart from like the 3-3 draw.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. But I'm excited to see. I think Son can get one, and Kane will get a brace.
Yeah. This is Kane's first home game since he hit that 200 Premier League goal mark, and since he hit the 267 goals for Spurs, becoming our record all-time top goal scorer. So I believe there will be a tifo in the crowd commemorating his name and celebrating his achievements. So look out for that when you watch the pre-match stream right before the match on, of course, USA Network or Universo. But that's it for our preview for Tottenham versus West Ham. If you enjoyed, make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button if you want to see more Spurs content, comment down below what your score predictions are, and until next time!
Come on, you Spurs!